Hey, it's Sally here with Tara, founder of Ease Yoga in Alexandria, Virginia, right on Mount Vernon Avenue, the Avenue as they call it. So Tara, thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me and my peeps.
Happy to do it.
Thank you about yoga and how you got into it, if you want, or a little bit of a quick little background on the history of yoga, if you don't mind.
Sure. Let me start with the history and then I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into it. So many moons ago, the monks who lived in India, they went up into the mountains and they wanted to meditate, to be closer to God. And they decided, they were all individually up in these mountains, but in order to sit for a really long time in meditation or prayer, they needed to be able to move in order to kind of like get their bodies ready to sit. And when they came out of meditation, after many years in meditation, they shared with each other all the different movements that they did. And one of the monks said, you know, I put my hands like this and my hips up in the air and my feet down, and I would kind of press my heels down. And another monk said, oh, I did that too. And then they named that downward facing dog, or, you know, it was in Sanskrit at the time. But so it was really to be able to sit. And I often say in my classes, to create spaciousness in the body, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and the bones, to be comfortable, to be able to sit on the ground, sit tall, and not feel uncomfortable.
Which is so appropriate for us because we are often sitting crunched over somebody, and that is awesome, and the spaciousness is really important. And that is what I love about yoga, is you do feel a good stretch after a class. And you also feel more powerful, I think, more like ready to take on whatever the day brings.
Absolutely. I know you were talking a little bit about all the emotion and some of the anxiousness that people feel coming into the space when they're in the chair. And I really do believe that we kind of feed off of each other. So if you could be as grounded and relaxed as possible when they arrive, it might help to relax them in the chair a little bit.
Good point, and so true. We've actually talked about that in a couple other videos, so check them out.
Great.
So, good. So, how did you decide that this was your Bali Wig? Because you've had an interesting life.
As we all have. I think, well, I first came to yoga, the very first yoga class that I went to was when I was pregnant, and I think a lot of young moms, sometimes we think, well, I'm pregnant, I need to get healthy. Isn't that interesting that once we have another body, but we should always be taking care of just ourselves in many ways. So I went to some yoga classes when I was pregnant, started to get curious about what was this breath work and movement. Fast forward a few years, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer and went to a lot of holistic healers at that time because actually I was pregnant and there wasn't much that Western medicine could do for me at the time. So I did a lot of yoga, I did a lot of meditation, I did a lot of breathing, and then a couple years after that, we moved to Costa Rica with our 3 kids, and I went to a yoga teacher training, and that just kind of blew my world open.
Yeah.
So you can do something for a while, but once you really sort of plunge into it, you understand the science, the history, the ancient knowledge of the practice. And I opened Ease Yoga 4 years ago with a belief that we are all energy systems, and we need to move that energy through our body. And the more we breathe, as you move your diaphragm, as your rib cage moves, as your shoulders move, all parts of you, you're moving stuck energy. And no one's perfect, but if you can have something every day mindfully, not just the normal movement through your life, but some kind of mindful practice, it actually, you'll notice over time, and I know you've had this experience, it creates openness in you. All of a sudden, those things that kind of used to weigh heavy on you, those are the lights that are automatic, so we'll move Arasi. It forces us to move.
Well done.
Yeah. But it creates this ability, this spaciousness, and it opens up things in relationships with people. It opens up non-reactivity to the things, and people start to sense that we're two bodies that feed off of each other, and so it can be as simple as, like, for example, just sitting, taking your chin towards your chest, and slowly, as you breathe in and out through your nose, rolling your neck side to side, ear to shoulder. It can be something, I know you guys work with your hands very much. You can also just gently taking your wrists around, opening and closing them, shaking them, doing it on both sides, evening out. It can be something as simple as taking your hands down on your belly button, taking a deep inhale, filling your belly, holding it, and then exhale through the mouth. Feel the belly button come back towards the spine. You can inhale again. Exhale. Inhale. Taking deep breaths. I've been noticing in movies a lot lately when someone gets worked up or anxious, the person will say, breathe, breathe. And that's what we say in yoga all the time. Just come back to your breath.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those tips, because we can easily incorporate those in a day.
Yeah, you don't need to be in a yoga studio, although we'd love you to come and see us. If you are in Del Rey, in Alexandria, Virginia, we have 2 beautiful studios, great teachers, and we do everything here from restorative yoga to faster paced classes. We do a yin yoga, which comes from a Chinese medicine tradition, gets deeper into the myofascial tissue and really can release and create spaciousness there.
And it's a really nurturing environment when you walk in. It's very welcoming. You invite all body types. There is no one who doesn't feel like they are not part of the community, which is very special, because we all want to be part of a solid, nurturing community.
It's difficult to walk into, sorry to speak over you, it's difficult to walk into a studio. Even myself as a yoga teacher, if I go to a new studio for the first time, I feel a little anxious. How do I, some social anxieties. But we really do try here our best to make everyone feel welcome. We have curvy yoga classes for bigger bodied people. We have kids classes, men's class. We do a lot to make us all, our teachers also make us feel comfortable. Our teachers love working one-on-one with people too. We have some teachers that are actually trained in trauma-sensitive yoga, which is helpful for if you've had a trauma in your life, which many of us had, big or small. So working one-on-one. We have a yoga rope wall, which is kind of like puppeteering within yoga. Lots of options.
A lot of options.
Thank you.
And thank you. And that's one thing I want you all to keep in mind. If you're not near us here, please, if you go into a yoga studio and don't feel comfortable, there are many other places that you can check out. You want to feel like it's a good place for you, that no one's going to be staring at you or judging how you're moving. You want to just come in, do your stuff, and enjoy. So thank you, Tara. That was amazing, because you shared things that we can use every day. Your story is so powerful on how intense yoga can be and how supportive it can be when our bodies need healing. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you all,
Thank you.
and we will see you soon.
Sally. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. My
Thanks. Really
pleasure.
nice.